Fred here, and welcome to the Gear Obsession channel. And what I have here for you today is the huge Thrunite TN35 flashlight. I like big flashlights, and I cannot lie. I should not rap ever, but I'm not lying, and I like big flashlights, and the TN35 is a big-um. I don't know if I'm showing this in such a way where the perspective is not getting warped, because it is big. It's almost as big as my head, which is pretty big. Standout features for this flashlight. Well, you should be interested, and just stay with me. 2,750 lumens for $109, and you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on Thrunite. The links are in the description box below. Thrunite did send me this flashlight for this review, but they did not pay me any money to do it. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, honest review like I always do. So what else makes this a standout flashlight other than it's big and it's bright? Well, just like the TN32, which I really liked, it has a knob to control the brightnesses, you know, the different modes, the brightnesses, that's a new word. But it makes it so easy to use, because I really don't like when you get a flashlight with all the capabilities that you want, but you have to, like, remember, okay, I got to press and hold the button to get into this mode, or I have to press it twice to do this, or too confusing. And when you have a lot of flashlights, like I do, because I'm lucky, you know, they send me flashlights to review. When I pick one up, I can't remember the special sequence to get the thing to go immediately into turbo, or to get it to go to strobe. Don't have to with this one. It's so simple. A Fred can do it. Other than all of that, it's also a flashlight that is balanced very well between flood and a thrower. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and take a close look. This flashlight is powered with three 18650 batteries. You actually unscrew it right here. It doesn't unscrew from the head. You unscrew it here. It has a caddy. I already threw batteries in here. It does not include the 18650 batteries, the three. Basically, two go one way, one go the other. It's clearly marked. You could put the carrier in either way. Don't put cheapy batteries. For example, I had bought these 2,000 milliamp hour jobbies from Radio Shack, and what happened was when I put this thing on the highest brightness, it basically turned the light down to almost Firefly within 5 seconds, because they just couldn't handle it. So you got to put pretty strong batteries in there. Thrunite sells batteries, and they even sell a combination of this flashlight with batteries and a charger for $185. So, and it's also that same link that I put on Amazon. It will show that other package deal. So if you don't have 18650 batteries and a charger, you can get that whole deal. So before we go down, all the specs, I'm going to set this beast aside. We can take a look. This is the box that it came in, just like all other Thrunite. They typically come in these kind of brown boxes. The way you open it, so don't try to tear open the side. The flashlight was wrapped in plastic under this foam. Inside this holster, nice nylon, has button and Velcro, so it's secured. It can go onto the biggest utility belts. It better be a strong utility belt, because here, I'll give one spec out right now. This thing weighs with the batteries 1.6 pounds, so you better have the belt on tight, or you'll be walking around with a big flashlight down on your knees, because it's going to pull your pants down. Silicone Joe to keep things dry while it's shipping. It's not to heed the warning. Get some extra O-rings and an extra cover for the tail switch, and you also get a lanyard. I don't know about carrying this with a lanyard, but you could obviously put it through the hole in the back there on any of these holes if you wish. Going down the specs, we start out from the top We have a crown bezel, that crown bezel, so you could strike somebody with it. Also, if you have this thing sitting down, so let's say you put it down, at least you could see a little light leak there, letting you know that, hey, idiot, you left the flashlight on. So I like that bezel. And you could unscrew it, so like if it gets really damaged or whatever, you can take it off and replace it maybe. But it does unscrew. You could take the lens out or whatever. It's not fixed, what I'm saying. So next thing we're looking at is the glass lens. You can see that purple. See the purplish going on in there? That means that it has an anti-reflective coating. It's tempered. Next thing, we have a nice, deep, smooth reflector, and it makes it so it's perfect as a thrower. You know, it's a compromise between a thrower and a flood, and we'll see that here soon. But you could sort of see how well it's reflecting, and the emitter, if I were able to back this off just a little more, you could actually see how that emitter gets reflected all the way to the edges. Alright. Next, the emitter itself. Not a Cree emitter. This is called the Employ Xlamp MT-G2 emitter. It's what enables this flashlight to do 2,750 lumens. It can basically broadcast that light downrange about a third of a mile. It's pretty impressive. And what's also impressive is that, we'll go ahead and let you see this up front, it could also be very low. So you could go from this crazy high to this very low, almost like Firefly. We'll see how that looks in the dark here in a moment. I kind of like the way that that sort of looks too. It's like little bunches of tiny LEDs. It's so cool. Really slick. Alright, and the other thing you might have noticed is the color of the light. It's not a cool light. This emitter is a very nice, warm, neutral kind of light. It's the color 5000K. Now, moving on down here, you got heat dissipating fins right here. Then you have that easy mode select ring, and it has like detents with each setting. So you start out all the way to that lowest setting, and you can see there's a graph here where it means really low, and as you go up here, it means a little bit brighter, a little brighter, a little brighter, a little brighter, a little brighter. See, and then you're going to go into a standby, and then one more click will give you the strobe. So that's the operation. That's all the modes. It's that easy. No secret super squirrel button presses. I really like that. Nice aircraft grade aluminum body with nice black anodized finish. Really tough, easy to easy, hard to scratch. I've had a lot of these Thrunite flashlights with this finish, and they really are very durable. And finally, we get to the butt of the matter, and that is the tail. You have your tail switch, and it's a forward clicky, so I could do momentary. Whoops, I'm sorry to strobe you like that. I am so sorry. See, I'm doing strobe. Just press it in a little, and it's doing that momentary. Doing that momentary. You continue, it clicks, and it's on. Click it again, it's off. Very simple to use flashlight, but you look like a professional because it's a big, giant, bright flashlight. So as I already said, 3 18650s, power this guy. If you don't have, you need to buy them. They're not included. Other things is it has intelligent heat efficient circuitry. If your batteries are not supplying current properly, it's going to cut it down. If they start overheating, it's going to cut it down. It does control current. You know, so there is some smarts in this one. It's not just going to, dim as the batteries go. There is circuitry going on here. Length of this flashlight, 8 inches long. And again, the weight with the batteries, because it doesn't make sense to give you weight without the batteries, does it? 1.6 pounds. It is also waterproof to the IPX8 standard, so I could go on the water for 5 feet. Pretty neat. And as well as being waterproof, it's impact resistant also to 5 feet. So the next thing we'll do is run down the Lumens and Runtimes, and what I'll do is I'll put up here the actual Lumens and Runtimes, so I don't have to read them out to you and make this a really long, boring video. So there's the lowest setting. You can see how you really can't see anything, but trust me, it's on, see? and then we'll go ahead to the second setting, and then your third, and that's 380 lumens, and then your fourth, and then your fifth, and then here comes the brightest setting, 27,050 lumen, or I'm sorry, 2,750 lumen, and I can feel the heat on my hand. You can go ahead and see how that looks right there as far as the angle. While I have this out like this, I can go ahead and shine it down so you can get a look. Here's the head of the flashlight. I'll bring it up to the top of the frame, and you can see the spread of the spot, nice and warm. Well, you could use this as a hand warmer. And there's your flood, so you can see it's not really big spread out, and it's not really small. Again, it's a compromise between a thrower and a flood. It gives you, you know, sort of in between there. And then if you continue turning the knob, there we go. So it's still on as far as the switch, but see, that's a standby mode. It's using an extremely low amount of current. It can last 1,200 days before the batteries run out. But what this does is, like, you're getting ready to go into a situation and you want to be one click to a strobe. One more click and you're in strobe. So stand by, here we go. Strobe. And you can see the strobe, it sort of cycles between two different frequencies. You got a fast and a slow, back and forth. That makes it as disorienting as possible for the person on the other end getting this shined in their eye. So this flashlight would be pretty good for law enforcement, military, and all those kind of things, if you know what I mean. So very impressive flashlight. And oh, by the way, you see this? It's U-shaped here on the bottom, so the button doesn't extend beyond the bottom. So you know what that means. I can take this and shine it up, and we're tail standing, which means it could light up the room. I'm going to go ahead and just creep this in a little bit here, and it's reflecting the light off the ceiling, essentially making the whole ceiling a light, and it just lights the whole room up. So pretty, you know, even though it's big, it's actually pretty steady because that base is almost like a little can. So you got a lot of surface area. So it, even though it has this big head, it stands up really good and steady. Okay, we're outside my backyard. Crickets are cricketing. Maybe some frogs making some noise. Kind of dark. And I have a fence line down there, which if you can't see, you'll see in a moment. And the furthest point's about 25 yards. And I'll go ahead and turn the flashlight on the lowest setting, and you can see nothing, because like I said, it's really low. But if I put my hand out here in front, so that's sort of your firefly. Then we'll go ahead and just bump it up to level 2. And you can see, you could already see it down there. And again, there's that fence line. Okay. 3. Ah! Already bright as, I'm not saying it. 4. 5. And we got one more. 2,750 lumens. Look at that. Whoosh. And if I do it one more, it goes into standby, see? Alright, so super duper bright. You can see the way that beam travels across the lens when I go across like that. It is, there we go. Look at that. You know what? It'll be like there's a UFO that's trying to beam you up. That's what that looks like. You can see how the flood and the spot, it's sort of in between. It's not spread out from my entire yard, but it's not like pinpoint either. So you can just see how it looks. Now I do notice there, you see this little, there is a little ring out here. So there's something a little, you know, different. Really not a factor. But I want you to see everything about this flashlight. It's already getting nice and warm in my hand, but you can see it's running in turbo and it's not cutting off or anything. And let's go ahead and, like I said, you can see about 1/3 of a mile. Let me see if I can sort of zoom into a spot in that darkness there, just to give you an idea. Alright. You can see my pink flamingos. And let me get the light down there. There we go. So look at that. You're just seeing forever down in there. Like I said, pretty impressive. Look up in that tree. You can see it's even still a little bit light out, and it's not even giving that little bit of light any attention up there. It's so bright. Just look at this. I'm gonna light up some trees way up there. See that beam? That's crazy. Crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and signal for some UFOs. Hey, come on down. Well, it's almost time to wrap things up, and I just wanted to prove a point right here. Check this out. This room is being lit by the flashlight. See, if I were to turn this off, all you can see is the screens. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, really, I'll keep it like this. Highly recommended. Not much I don't like about this flashlight. It's big, it's heavy. That could be a doubter. The ring around here doesn't, there's a teeny little gap. Teeny, I could get like a fingernail between the body and the what do you call it, ring. Now, I hate it when I draw a blank. The crown bezel right there, I could stick a fingernail. So it doesn't quite screw flush there. However, it's not a problem. No waterproof issues or anything like that. And there is a slight overhang because you see how my fingers ripping it. And I guess that's because of the gap. So a little teeny bit of fit. I don't know if all the flashlights are like that, but this one is. So that's the one downside. The only other criticism I have is, you know, you have all those 6 brightnesses, and all you get is this thing that says, you know, it's going to get brighter as you go on down, and it does have the D10s. It would be nice if maybe there were some sort of markings or something like that. I mean, you do have standby and strobe. Man, this is getting warm. It's a hand warmer too. It's a hand. Oh crap! I can't see. This is just so freaking impressive. All right. It gets warm. It gets warm. We're gonna go ahead and cycle this down just a little bit. All right. Thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really do appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and especially you. And I hope you have a great evening.